Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Rancher.
But before we begin, let me inform you few things about us. DevOps School is one of the leading platforms which offers DevOps, cloud and containers technology training and certification programs for freshers and established professionals who wish to update and consolidate their skills in the dynamic IT scenario. We ensure that the training solutions are delivered by highly experienced domain experts with practical working experience in various verticals. Check out the dates and enroll with us for our upcoming batches. For more info, link and contact details are mentioned in the description below.
Okay, so the demo is first step number one, which I'm doing right now, is I'm going to get a step number one, get a Rancher server using Docker. So first day, if you remember, I set up the Docker server using Kubernetes, correct? But this time I'll set it up using Docker. Why? Because this is something which I want to do it quicker and faster. After that, step number two, I'm going to create a downstream Kubernetes cluster using R3. Okay, and after that, step number three, I'm going to use that new cluster to deploy it. Okay. So did you understand the flow, all of you? I mean, soon?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get it done quickly. I have a machines ready, and let me clean it up, this one. So Docker stop. I'm cleaning this. This is from the previous demo. So I'll just clean it up, and we could save some time here because this machines we have ready. So I'm stopping it. And removing it. Okay, so now I cleaned everything. Now images also I should clean it up to avoid the confusion. So this is the one, this is the one, and this is done. Now Docker images, I have no images, Docker PS, of course there's no things. So now how do we create a cluster? So first thing what you have to do, you have to install the Docker. Now I did it already, so you can see that I installed the Docker. Now you have to run the commands to create a Rancher cluster. So now these commands which I have written in my notes, which you can find, Rancher. So here. Okay, so this is the fastest way to create and install the Rancher. So now this is the command. I am running this command and it will set up the Rancher. Now I'm using the AT port, and the certificate I'm using is self-build, and then getting the permissions yourself. So this command will set up a Rancher for me and enter. Okay, that's all. So Rancher would be accessible on AT port or 443. What is the IP address? So this is the IP address, and the port number 443, which is the default. So HTTPS. So let me access it. It works. What is this? This works. It should not. This works. There's some problem here. Just give me a few seconds. I should not see this page, by the way. That was the cache actually. I have a browser issue. So here it is. Now you see that here Docker PS, this Rancher is running. Now can I refresh this? Just wait for a few minutes after this running, because it takes some time to boot up. Okay, so right now it's running. It takes some time to boot up, and sometimes I have a problem with the browsers also. So there is a problem in that, and the problem is HTTPS. It's HTTPS, okay. And Still it's not coming. Just wait for some seconds. Yeah. And advanced, proceed further. And this is your Rancher. Now, how do I get access to Rancher? So guys, here you have to run this command to get the password. So same thing which you did in the Kubernetes also, different command, which you run this one command to get a password. So there's a command problem. I blindly copied, but I should have done it the container ID, which is here. And here. Now this is a password, and I should feed here and log in. Now this is a password which I got it. This is the URL that let it be, and I agree with the terms and condition. Continue. Now this password I should copy here because I'm going to log here. That's all. So now what is the password? Username is admin. Password is this one. Login with the local user. Now there's a problem here. And let me refresh. Yeah. So username. There's a browser issues in my laptop. And so this is the Rancher cluster. We have gone through almost all the features of it. Now let's deploy the SKU downstream cluster. So now go to the cluster management here, and this is the local cluster. Now how to work with the local clusters and all we have used a lot, but right now we should deploy the new cluster. How do we deploy this new cluster? So for deploying a new cluster, we need one more VM. So what I'm going to do, create one instance, and this time send to S7 itself. And here and done and done. And for this minimum requirement is 2 CPU, 8 GB RAM, as it will have some failures. So one machines, 30 GB minimum hard disk I'm going for, and this is RKE down. And next, select firewalls. I'm creating exceptions. Launch keys. I'm having it, which is here and here. Okay, so this machines I created, this is CentOS 7. Okay, and I'm going to log in that machines also. So yeah. Okay, so this machine I'm going to log in, and here. Now in this machine, which is a step, this is the one I'm doing it. What you have to do, you just need to install Docker. Okay, just need to install Docker, that's all. And then second thing, you need to RK, and after that the process I will talk about it. So RK also is not required by this in this process. You don't need RK. So just need a Docker, and that's all. Everything will be done by. So can we log into this machines? New machine. This is a new machines.
Yeah.
And just wait for it. It's booting up. It's taking a little time. Yep, done. Now I have logged in into this, and what I will do, I will become a root actually for this, and I'm going to install the Docker. How do we install the Docker? I think I'll go to my blog. It took slow today. Somewhere it should be open. Docker install. Yeah. So I'm going to install the Docker, and for that, this is the easiest way, or let's say, let's go for this. I'm installing a Docker, and enabling the Docker. If you need tomorrow. Just wait for a few seconds, it's getting installed. And now, so what I'm doing after installing a Docker, I'm going to create a clusters using RK. So what I'm going to do for that, I'm going to hit the cluster. This is the cluster. Now click on the cluster here, and I'll discuss about this custom options. So just let me complete this first one action. So take me a little time. I'll just clean this. I don't have patience, and then try this one. Yeah, done. Almost done. Done. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to enable the Docker, which is this clearest thing, and I am going to start the Docker. I am going to check that Docker PS is run. Docker PS is run. Okay, so that's done. What I did is I created environment for this activity. So far so good. Did you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. After that, what I'm going to do is in the cluster, I'm clicking a custom, and this time this we are using through RK. Remember, and name it Rajesh cluster one. Now, what is the rules and all this thing access you want to assign to someone? So I'll let it be default access by admin. I don't want to pass any levels and allocations right now because not too many servers clusters I'm running. Now here you have to decide which version of Kubernetes you want. So here right now I'll go for the latest supported one, LTS 1.229. Now here you have to select the which network provider. Now you can use anything Flannel, Calico, Canal, and Weave. I'm more comfortable with the Weave right now, so I'll just go with it. And some of the options which is default, disabled, enabled, and stuff like that, which you can see that. These all are networking related stuff. Now here cloud provider, though I'm not using EKS, AKS, and sort of things, though I'm using the VMs of AWS, so I'll go with the none. Private registry I don't have right now, so I'll disable it. These are the advanced options to create a see, you want ingress, you want the default backend, node port if you want to create a service, metric service monitoring you want it enable, disable, port security you want enable, disable, and your Docker which allow unsupported version, and secret encryptions, ATCD locally should be your S3. All these setups you can understand that, and it will be easy for you to set up. Now, these are all the environment variable. Authorized endpoints, yes, you can make it if you are behind the proxy, but right now it's not needed, enable, disable, no configuration required. If you have a certificates, you can upload the certificate from here. FQDM is the domain name server. If you have association with this cluster, you can do that. And next. Okay, now this particular clusters, you want to create what kind of node? So you want this etcd node, I mean, you want this node etcd server, control plane, or worker. So I want for time use of, because the master node, I want everything to be there. And let's say if you have this code, you should run in the node. If you want that node should be having everything. Let's say if you want only the control plane and worker, then this one. Or let's say if you want only the worker, then disable this and then this one. Are you understanding?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so for time being, I want everything because it's my first node, and copy. Now this URL, you have to check it a little bit with care, because long IP address and all, it will create a trouble for us. So let me check that. This is my IP address for the Rancher, and this is the token, checksum, and this all these rules, privileged, everything is done. Now I want to check this one, whether it's the right IP address for the Rancher or not. So 65.0.172.152, that's correct. So because the server is created today only, so the IP address, there is no conflict and all. But in the last sessions, remember that we used to stop the servers and then stop the servers. The IP address used to change it. That used to create some problems. So static IP address is a good practice for that reason. So now I'm going to run this here in this box. Okay. So this command I'm going to run it and enter. Now it will do a lot of things actually. What things it will do? You should go and check the logs. So this is the Rajesh 1 cluster, downstream cluster, which is getting provision. And you see that all this stuff. And here I should see the logs. Now there's no logs coming. Just wait for 2 seconds. There's no log coming. And restriction, snapshot if you want to create it, some conditions if you want. And see, these are all conditions. I should see the logs, and still it's not coming. So look at this here and refresh it. Now it started coming. So now they are starting provisioning. So if you see the Docker images and Docker PS, and this you run with watch command, and you see here. This is images and Docker PS. See, this is one container. Now see this log. So you should check that if there is an error or something. So here I see there's one error, and that error, what it says, this one is a control plane node without reachable. This is, you can ignore for some time. Why? Because this error will come for some time, because the still it's configuring it. So the Kubernetes API is not available. So that's the reason it's not able to reach. So you can ignore for some time and you can move on. And see here, still that image is being pulled. So there's no question of that API server and other component of the control plane. So just keep seeing that. Right now one container has come, and image, how many images has come? See, one image. So keep monitoring it like that. Have a little bit of patience till you get a successfully completed or something with a error, multiple error. Then see here, still now etcd is coming up, and yes, this is the container image. One more image has come. So all this command will set it up for you. And here, see, all info is okay. See that multiple images come, multiple container has come. You see that number of containers are growing, and something somewhere we are very close. Here networking plugin is being deployed. Almost done. Let me check this. See that different containers coming. And almost done. Just maybe a few seconds more. Yeah, done. So here you see this is the message we are waiting for. Finished building Kubernetes cluster successfully. And that's all. So it's done successfully. Now these are the containers which is running, and these are the images which we wanted to get it. So now all this thing was done by that magical command which I ran. So now I should go and click on the clusters and see it's waiting. Just refresh it, and still it's waiting. Wait for a second. Now you see it's become active. See, so now this sub cluster, I mean the downstream cluster is ready for use, and now you can use just like a local cluster, but we have used it. So what we're going to do, same thing, whatever we did in the local cluster, we're going to do the same Rancherfund cluster. Like that, you can deploy more nodes into that. So right now there's only one node. So here you see that this is the cluster machines. Only these machines I am having it. So the moment you run that command in different nodes, you will have it different nodes also. Now, how do you log into this cluster using kubectl and work for that? So here you have a cluster management, and here you get a config, the config file, and see here all this you can enable, do the changes and explore it. Here you can see that all this option, clusters, workload, marketplace, service discovery, and all stuff like that. Now, where's the config file? So config file would be, let me go to cluster management, and here, and do you see the download config file, all of you? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this file you just need to download, and this is your config file, and just a second here. So using this is your config file. So everything you have in this to access it. So what you going to do? So you are going to log in. So let me do that kubectl, and it's not installed, so I have to install the kubectl. So for that, what I'm going to do is just kubectl. So I'm going to install the kubectl. So command line for that is, I'm setting up the workstation. Okay, though you can work through the visuals also. Download kubectl in CentOS. So command for it is download it, and Linux, and this is the command. And here I'm going downloading the kubectl. Done. Now this kubectl I'm going to chmod 755 and permissions, and this kubectl I'll move it to path. So md kubectl and user local DB. There's a S. I'm putting the directory. And so sudo and sudo 755 chmod 755 and oops, done. Now I'm going to check this kubectl is done. Yes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one directory and .cube directory. And you know that if you know the Kubernetes, you have to do that. And now vi.cube and config file, it has to be created with that content. So I'm copying this whole content and putting up in the config file. and save it. Done. Now check this kubectl get nodes, and I'm expecting one node is there. Now get pods. Downstream projects is working. You see that. Now this is a way you can deploy the different clusters also using Rancher. Did you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so now how can you work with the command line? So GUI, GUI. How can you work with the command line again? Call this kubectl command if you work. You are good with it. But again, let me work with the command. GUI actually. So go to the Rajesh, export the Rajesh. Go to the project. Here the same thing which I'm doing, which I did in the second day, creating a project. This is a PRJ1, and what are the quotas you want to define? You can define. It's up to you, and create. Now here I created a project one, which is, where are they? Here it is. Now inside the project one, there is a no namespace. So what I'm going to do, I'm creating a namespace. All this thing you are doing through the UI part. Now all this thing you can do through the GUI, command line also. So for example, here I created a project. Here I created dev namespace. You can query through the kubectl get ns. See here, you have a dev. Okay, so this way you can do that. Nodes, I have added just now one master nodes, but you can also add more nodes. By the way, using this, you can do the cordon, drain, and delete also. And cluster members right now, there's only one admin. Now workload, which you can do, create a cron tab, daemon set, deployment, jobs, and blah, blah, blah. So let's do the deployment, which is a very popular API resources. So create it. And what is the name? So Rajesh deployment. And what is the replicas you want? Let's say 5 replicas I want. And which of the container? So image is image. Do you see that image somewhere? Let me search for it. I'm not finding interest to read it. Here, this is the image. So what image? So I'll go for the NGINX. Okay, and now remember that for any deployments, this is the easiest way to learn. What are the options which you have in the deployment? Health check, labels, allocations, networking, scheduling, pod scheduling, resources scaling. All these are Kubernetes stuff which you can specify and create it. Now you can also see that through command line get deploy, and what is the namespace? -m Rajesh. And why is this created? Okay, by mistake I did not deploy in the what is it? I did not deploy in the Rajesh namespace. I deploy in the default only. So you can also do one more things. You can select here default namespace to dev. Same thing. Raju 1 again nginx, and rest of the things let it be. How many replicas you want? 3, 2, whatever it is, and 3. So now I deployed in the one deployment I did in the dev also. So you see that here. This is I did in the dev, and this is I did in the default. Okay. So now same way you can deploy all these resources here. Job, stateful spot. Here, if you want to deploy some applications from the market, for example, I want to deploy the Prometheus. This is for the deployment Windows. It's available for Windows. I want something for the Linux. So last session we did the Artifactory. Now, but for this session, let's install something Istio. Okay, so just install this here, Istio, and which project you want to install. So I want to install in the project one, and after that, next. Here you have a customization if you want to really customize it. And so project one, I deployed this Istio, which is available for the project, all the namespaces, whichever they are used. So this is the way you have to work. Again, it's just displaying, it will take some time. So kubectl get pods -- all namespaces, and this is the issue somewhere. This is ingress. It has not come so far, and no, just wait for it. Still it's doing actually. okay, there is a problem here. So here it says, so there's a problem here in this, and the error is installation failed while unable to build Kubernetes objects from release manifest, unable to recognize blah blah blah. So basically, some options I did not give it, and that's the reason. So I did not read get all the required options. So installed, and let me try. Let me check that all stuff. Which option is required? I need to read the documentation for this app. So like that. Okay, so again, it's missing some options. I don't know what exactly the required options. Like that, you can deploy the applications here. You can choose some other applications also. So go for charts. Let's say this way we installed it actually. Okay, this here we did not install it. So you can install this Artificial GSR and dev. That's okay. And master key. A little bit default actually. I don't want to get into applications of that Artificial. Simply, I was just want to deploy. So seems to be it's like yeah. So it's getting done, and they don't have a load balancers. That's okay because I've not got in EKS and all. So this is a way you can deploy this application. You can see that a number of repository. You can add a chart repository here. By the way, you can do manually also helm add and all, but here also you can add it, those repository helm repository. And discovery services, all the services here you have. I prefer that create services through command line, but you can do that here also. For example, let's say kubectl get deploy. So there's one deploy which is called Rajesh. So what I'm going to do, kubectl expose -h, and command line is little better. Yeah. So here kubectl deploy expose, name of this deployment is Rajesh, expose deploy Rajesh, and which port 80, target port 80, and kubectl get svc. Now this service I created. Now see here service order. So click on this here. Now the default service order. So by the way, I created a command line a lot, but yes, you can use it if you really want it. So these are the clustered IP, headless, load balancer, external port, node port, all these things need to be. So basically all this functionality, whatever you have, you can in a Kubernetes, you can try it all this stuff. Did you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me try one more thing, which last time got failed, and that was deploying the EKS cluster. Because last time it got failed because some stupid reason, and I created this rancher from start, scratch, so probably it will be fast. So here I'm deploying this time EKS one more, okay, and this is the EKS. Now, which reason? So I will go to AWS and security credentials. Mumbai regions I want to deploy. Okay, so let's see that same process which I followed last time, but last time we had some error. Now I could not locate that. How do we solve it? Probably that could be the reason for. So AP South one, that's a region I'm using. Yep, Mumbai region. Now here you don't have a credential. So what I'm going to do, creden something like that, and here and keys and create. Now I'm using other options. So here account access done. Which version? 1.21. That's okay. Service role, that's one standard. Secrets, let it be default. Network configurations, I want a public access, of course, and I want the VPC to be created. Private access, all these things let it be. And here, security groups. So security groups, I want here, launch template. AWS launch template. Just a second. So launch template has not come. So this is for the logging enabling and node group, manage node group. So I don't have it. So I am creating T3 medium, that's okay. And SSH. So SSH for Rajesh Mumbai. I have the key. AMI IDs. Let it be EKS supported. I don't care. User data, I'll not touch. Add, not touch. Desire, this is a stuff. Group name, group one. So more or less everything I did which I've required with the red and create it. Okay, so let's see that. It will take 10 minutes at least. And yeah. So you should check the logs and go to the logs and see that. Now you can come to this one, close it, and go to EKS and here. And still has not come, so just wait for it. It takes some time. There's some permission issues, but I can ignore it for time being. Keep refreshing. Okay, so here, this is for the registration. We don't need right now. Conditions okay. And just wait for it. It just take 15 to 20 minutes. So yeah, this is the way you have to deploy. This one I have showed you already, but last time it did not get connected to APIs. Something has happened. So that was. So any questions so far?
Do you have any more session for this rancher?
You have?
I mean that do you have any?
You have any?
Yeah, do you have any session for this rancher more?
Sir, soon I'm not able to understand you. Can you just type the question in the chat window?
Yeah, I mean that today the last day, or do you have any session more?
Okay, okay. So I can also show you one more things, and that is in Rancher we have, just a second, hold on. In Rancher we have one tool which is called RKE. Okay, so this session what I did, I deploy the downstream Kubernetes cluster using RKE, but from what? From Rancher, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, but this time what I can do, help you to understand how can you create cluster using RKE directly. Okay, so this I can show you. So just give me 2 minutes for that. So meanwhile, this is getting ready. That is EKS and logs. Still logs has not come. So let it come. Meanwhile, it's getting ready. I'm going to create one new server just for you, demo, and go to EC2 and here launch instance and CentOS 7 and here there's some noise coming from your side. Yeah, thank you. CPU 8 GB RAM, 1 storage, 30 GB hard disk, and tag name RKE something. And here default include fixed. Okay, so this is the I'm going to use directly for the RK from the RK. So what is the command line and all? What you have to run, I am showing you in just a few minutes. Just get the access to this.
So how we connect from master to downstream?
How can you?
How can we connect from master RKE to downstream RKE?
This same thing I did. No, if you want to UI part, if you want to connect to the UI, click on the Rajesh one, which is a downstream cluster, and do whatever you want. But also, I configure. Remember the queue configurations here, and these all commands I was running through this. Correct, man? Did you understand that?
Yes, did lab. I got it. I saw architect in document Rancher. We have one master and one we
That's a
using
controller, right? Controller.
yeah controller
That's for
and
that's for Rancher, not for you. Remember, that's for Rancher to manage the cluster. So they
yeah.
install the Rancher controller. So that's a system pod actually. You don't need to worry about that one. You don't interact with that. You interact with either the either the main cluster or the downstream cluster. And if you want to manage all the cluster at a time, you can work with this Explorer.
Yeah.
Okay. So now SSH -I Rajesh Mumbai PM CentOS at the rate of sorry uh, clear the
But
screen.
I want to install ISTIO. Can you help this?
Yes, I can try that option, which are the issue options are there, and I can help you. But I didn't read that too much configuration. So some there's, let's say if you install any application, there are certain prerequisites which we have. So before installing blindly, you should read that prerequisite. I did not read it. I simply download. I mean, click on the installations. Okay. So that was the stuff.
Yeah, but I saw that it looked like we need to install Kubernetes also, right?
So if you forgot actually, this I was installing in the Kubernetes only. Rajesh one is a Kubernetes downstream clusters. And in that, I went app marketplace and installed app. There's one install app which got failed by the way, because of load balancers are not there. But here, if you see under the chart section, these all applications, these are nothing but a charts actually, helm chart. So these applications you can install it easily. Now you said issue. So now I should read these documents. What are the prerequisites for installing this stuff? And then if I should see that, do I have this prerequisite? For example, all these components and all. See here, this is RHA. Okay. So few things, RHL 8.4. So I need to read this document and see that if my machine is ready for that. The CentOS 7, which I have with the Kubernetes 1.22, which is ready for that. So I did not read this. Is the whole installation document for this, and I just simply click on this install. But let's say if you have a Rancher installation in the in the EKS or clusters, the downstream clusters you have in EKS. So probably you don't have to struggle this much of it because this is just for learning purpose, the local environment, and like that. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to just, even I will do the same thing. I will read this, match this all the requirement. See here, there should be some, and the chart. This should be first installed. So first, before installing it, you have to install this monitoring chart. or other Prometheus installations before this. So I did not install, I simply jumped to this and started installing it. So this is the installation requirement. Getting my points?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. So now what I'm doing right now, I've connected these machines, and here I am trying to install Docker. So let me install the Docker first. Docker install, and clear the screen. Yep.
But I have a little bit confused regarding K3S and Longhorn.
Okay.
Do we have this lab also?
Uh, this for that we need an infrastructure actually. So Longhorn we need a block storage devices. It's we need a physical server actually.
And
Where do we get it? Physical server.
K3S.
Just for the installation requirement for this is you should have a physical infrastructure with some storage. So that is a problem. How do we get it? That's a problem. Yes, prerequisites, and you should be having or EBS. You can try with AWS EBS also. See, I can try offline, okay, and I can suggest you. Okay, so as of now, I don't have infrastructure, but I can try to prepare. And
Yes.
Rancher, yeah, Rancher K3S is a production ready, lightweight Rancher setting up. So K3S, instead of K3S, I'm using the Arcade. Okay, so same thing. Its utility is different, and that also, if you want, I can try. But this more than this, we use this Arcade because Arcade is a production ready.
Yeah, we can use RKE or K3S instead, right?
Yes, both we can use it. That's not a problem. Right now, the demo which I'm showing you is dedicated to Arcade. Okay, so here you see that I installed the Docker. After that, I'm going to install the Arcade. So I have all the instructions in my notes.
So you install Docker and Kubernetes again, right? This machine.
Yeah, I got one other machine for Arcade, installed Docker. Now I'm installing the Arcade. So for that, this is the machine I'm installing the Arcade. It's a new machine. And now I'm installing, downloading the Arcade. These all commands I'm running. And chmod. And here, moving to this file name Arcade. This is an Arcade installation. And finally, echo. This is not required, and then moving this to the system. After this, I am going to add this Docker user, normal user, which is CentOS, into the Docker flow and exit Docker. Yes, done. Okay, so now I am going to create a RKA config. So RKA installation is done. Basically, you need one command for create a configurations for the cluster. Up, it will create a cluster. Remove, it will remove the cluster. That's all. So this time, I'm going to create a configuration of it. That can be automated also, RKA config. Now, where is your key? the private key. So the key should be in that locations and press enter. Okay. Now number of hosts, how many? Only one. SSH address, so that should be the IP address, private IP address, which is here. And what is the port? 22. And key path for the host. So SSH private key path for the host, which is this one. But I think I have to generate the ticket first before that. And user for it, send twice. And is host control panel? Yes. Is it worker? Yes. Is it etc? Yes. Now override the host name. So the host name I'm making it agent host one. Okay. And internal IP address is same thing. And Docker path let it be default. Which one, which driver you want? So we is my favorite. And authorization thing and RBAC of course. Here let it be same image. And cluster domain let it be cluster dot local. Range for service, okay. For security, no. CIDR, okay. DNS, okay. EML, let it be whatever it is. And now this configuration file you created, which is the configuration file. Now I should only check this. Do we have a private key? So I should go here, SSH, and you see that there is no private key. SSH, I'm creating this hyphen keygen and enter. That's all. So this work I completed. After that, I am going to run the command which is rke up. Okay, this will create a clusters for you. That's all. Now info is okay, and there's some problem, and the problem is okay. So here it is saying, please cluster must have at least one etcd plane host. Please specify one or more etcd in a cluster. Actually, I have specified. I remember that. Let me read this one more time. So vi cluster.yaml, and look at this here. This is the nodes, and I'm just checking it. Services. This is the etcd. KPI seems to be okay. Controller, kubelet, network. So I don't think so there's a problem, but still I'll just look this. Anything I missed it. One more time up, RK up. Now let me just check this. It's a straightforward command. So it says, okay. I'm just trying this error. Here role and internal address. So let me check this here. So more, the file is more cluster dot YAML and grep row, paste it, and it is there, vi cluster.yaml and row, enter. And this is good. So this is change ratio. Okay, so you can define the image too. Let me run one more time. So delete this RK up. The same command, nothing to change. Title is okay. So one more time, I will do this config. Let me delete every file from here, and should be okay. So now RK config one more time. Enter. What is the file that's okay? Number of hosts okay. SSH address of the host, and I believe I'm writing it correct one, which is this one 224, and SSH port 22 okay. Now SSH private key path of the host, and this is the one okay, and SSH user CentOS is a host control panel. Each host a control panel host. Yes, enter. Is a host worker? Yes. Is a host a worker host? Yes. And each host an etcd host? Yes. So all three I'm saying yes. And for etcd I'll make it no. Okay, I'll go with the default. So control panel host, worker host, etcd host I'm making no, and override the host name agent one or host one, and internal IP address is the same, and Docker same, weave same, strategy same, RBAC, this one, 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 done. Okay, so this time I said this that one I did not do that. etcd, let's see that. Same issues. Okay, so this I'll see that offline, and I'll try to fix it, and I'll share with you my observation. Okay, that error is not expecting.
So this option you install RKE but not working, right?
These options are same. Okay, let me show you here. RKE config. So here, if you see that this option, whichever I provided, is for the one node cluster. So see, I did this, and after that creating a configuration. So here I did this, I run this command, I run, and after that you have to do RKE. That's all. So this command I run it correctly. I must check the requirement document if my VM has some problem. So OS requirement. So this I need to check. So I use the CentOS 7, right? So this is the RH here. And it could be some issues with the operating system. So these steps I did not do. So in RHL, there is some steps maybe you have, which I did not do because I created on AWS. So this I did this, I remember.
I got it.
So I'll check in offline this option. It's just a problem with the VM. There's no command issues because command is very straight. Config. Here you see that. Yes, sir. Config and up. So I need to check that whether my, see here, this is a deploying. So this up and config. This is the command. And after, before that, install the RP. Okay, so I'll just check offline and let you know my observation.
Please help with this and Longhorn also and IST I got.
No, I cannot promise because for some required physical hardware and all stuff like that. I can try if I can get it, but I am not promising you because this EBS setups and all, there's a different product. It's not Rancher, it's a different product they have. So I need to try. First of all, you have to get what is it? This infrastructure. So these are the products of the Rancher company, Rancher one which I was teaching you. This is RKE I taught you right now. Longhorn, KTS, Harvester. These are the different products again for different use cases.
So I need that Longhorn, RKE, and EKS, and K3.
Longhorn, I just said I'm not promising you because I don't have a hardware file. I'll just try and let you know. Okay, if I can get it, I'll show you the demo. If I cannot get it, it's very difficult because it's a storage you need to configure and all. So let me try and then come back to you.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, if you would like to access the remaining videos of this playlist of 50 plus more tools which are coming under DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE, DataOps, GitOps, etc. Kindly become our channel members by clicking on the joining button. You would have access to hundreds of playlists and thousands of videos lifetime access with this membership. Enjoy.